The students will be attracted to our programs. The students will understand the value of our programs.
The College of Western Idaho is an institution that is dedicated to helping students open the doors to success. The Assistant Dean, Mary Rolfing, says it best.
Any choice of any of our degrees in school, social sciences and public affairs, or SPA, are all degrees that are going to launch people into transfer institutions very easily. They're all really challenging, I think, in a lot of ways. They're all staffed by incredibly dedicated faculty. They're challenging in that I think students leave our programs with a different sense of who they are and a different sense of the world that they live in. And that's a good thing. I mean, when I talk to students and they tell me about their incredible experiences with faculty, that, that a faculty member took the time to change their life. That's the beauty of being affiliated with any college or university. It's knowing that you're touching lives directly. But really what matters is whether or not a student's life has changed and whether or not they feel like the people that educated them knew their name, cared whether they showed up to class, cared whether they made progress, cared what happened to them after they leave. And those are the stories that I hear over and over. My job is to try to support that in every way that I can. The one thing that makes my day is if I get up from this desk, go out and walk around, or if I'm over in Napa, walk around and just take time to ask a student how he or she is doing. It's that interaction with students, I think, truthfully, that is it's always the highlight of my day. So SPAs, I hope will lead the way for CWI and become a real sort of focal point for the community. When they think of CWI, they'll think of our anthropology, our history, our political science, our psychology, sociology, communication, and criminal justice majors, and recognize the value of those students to their own enterprises, to their own ambitions.
Anthropology covers a little bit of everything. So I'm a cultural anthropologist. I'm not an archaeologist. This is a little outside of my comfort zone out here, but that's all right. What I find interesting about anthropology is that you can be interested in archaeology, you can be interested in history, you can be interested in linguistics, you can be interested in art, you can be interested in diet, you can be interested in notions of beauty. Everything that you can think of falls under anthropology, because anything that's human created, anything that's human innovated falls underneath that discipline of anthropology. So for me, as someone with really broad interests, I think it's a good fit, because anything that I'm interested in doing or pursuing can fall under there in some way. And as far as teaching introductory classes at CWI, it gives me a great opportunity to kind of dive into those diverse interests and hopefully illustrate some of the connections between those interests and the patterns that we see happening. It's important to take what you've learned in the classroom and be able to use it in the field context, and also learn how to work with each other. You learn leadership, you learn teamwork, you learn how to accomplish a series of goals, you learn about outcomes, you learn about project planning, communication techniques, all of these things, and all of that's a pleasure for me to see students developing out in the field.
As anthropologists know, sometimes exploring the world around you involves diving into the past. Another area that knows this to be true, history. Here's what instructor Walter Miszczenko loves most about teaching.
Well, just meeting the students, going to class, talking as far as history, and having students ask questions. Because students don't realize this, if they have questions or participate, we feed off of that. That gives us energy.
Miszczenko was also passionate and thoughtful, offering his opinion on why history is so important.
I feel the reason history is important is because it's important for students to understand the past. And by understanding the past, they can make a right choice as far as the present, and hopefully set their sights on the future.
How does Miszczenko engage his students while making history fun?
Any questions on funding? Do you know what It's storytelling time. That's what history is. It's a long story. And people tend to remember that more so than having to read the text on an event. Because those things you don't read in a book. But if you can make it interesting, it kind of gets their interest.
So for those of you interested in enrolling at the College of Western Idaho, Miszczenko offers this advice.
It's best to go to a junior college to get your basics out of the way. And once you have your basics out of the way, go to a four-year college, and the last 2 years you can concentrate on your major field.
There was a slight group of people that would vote for the state.
Yeah, each state would have. I just think the smallness and the kind of closeness between the instructor and the student. So it's that kind of atmosphere of we're here to help the students achieve their objective in education.
Those ones where you can get students outside the classroom and out into the field. Students get a lot of hands-on experience that way, and that's always a good thing.
Are you looking for a field exploring the earth, its people, and the environment? Geography might be a great fit. Department Chair Jeff Reed says a Geography Associate's degree can open up doors to the future, especially for students who love to explore the world around them.
Geography, because it's something where you are dealing with landscapes and the way people use the land and the way that the cities have developed and suburbs have grown and business economic patterns have developed in relationship to the environment that they're in. And so you can actually go out into the field and do a lot of this. And I think anything like that's a really good opportunity for students. It really kind of gets them going, get out and do stuff.
In the department, there are degree options for an AA in history, political science, and geography.
Classes are the best preparation for your future.
Reed believes that through his role as department chair, providing support to faculty is one of the most important aspects of his job.
Provide support for the faculty as much as I can, help them do their jobs as best as they can.
It's changed who we are. I will never be the same after starting with speech and debate. And I say that in the best way possible. It's made me a better person. And it's made me realize how important this connection is to feeling like you're more than just a student in the school. Speech and debate does that. Speech and debate here at CWI is one of the best ways for a student to feel like they're part of something larger. They're part of a community that cares about them and is helping them become a person that's going to find the success they need in their career, in their social lives. We're giving people a voice here, and it's not just a class. Yeah, okay, there's a class tied to this. But beyond that, it's a connection. Every single person that passes through here or is involved in some way, whether they're a student, a judge on a tournament, or an instructor, a coach like myself or Johnny, we've all been affected by this.
I'll tell you what, speech and debate for me is the most educational experience that a student will ever have. If you want your students to learn to research better, they will learn that in the context of this class. If you want students to learn how to communicate their ideas with strength, clarity, and passion, speech and debate will do that for them. If you want your students to feel connected to the college and to each other and to the faculty, speech and debate will do that for them. So it's just such a satisfying experience for me to be a part of that and see what happens to students year after year.
Well, when we talk about the term forensics, many people think crime scene investigation forensics. But forensics in general is referring to the past. We are engaging in forensics by reflecting on things so that we can learn for the future.
We've had many students that have gone on to full ride scholarships at other universities, which is really important to us. What I'm really finding very satisfying now is that students that would maybe not be able to afford that next level of college are now being offered opportunities, even full ride scholarships, and it's opening doors for them that if they'd never been a part of this team, they would not have had. And then just to see some personal growth in students as well, that they're maybe a little socially awkward, and they join the team specifically because they want to overcome that shyness that they have, or the fear of public speaking, which is just crazy that they would join speech and debate when they're scared of public speaking, and they're my heroes for doing so.
My favorite part is seeing the new people have that aha moment of, I'm on a team. I'm not just in Comm 105 on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I have to work on my speech for 3 hours twice a week, and oh wow. They came back as a team. Seeing our new people, we've got new people in impromptu speaking that are just loving it. Seeing our speakers, our debaters across the board feeling like now they're part of something. They come back, they're connected to a team, and they care.
Who's coming with me?
Good luck, guys.
Next.
When I'm asked the question, why should I be a communication major? My response is always, why shouldn't you be a communication major? I think Comm offers a wide array of courses that really prepare you for the workplace. We get into the human communication side of things with interpersonal classes and group communication skills. If you ask any employer, what's the #1 thing you look for in an employee? It's going to be the ability to work with others. And in Comm, we cover all of that and then some.
The communication department here at CWI is committed to understanding the social world, to say it, write it, and consider it. The CWI Media Club is an extension of that mantra. Be heard, be seen, get involved. Club President Jasmin Verduzco explains.
The Media Club, I think it's that I want people to be able to take away some skills that they can put on a resume and say, I was part of the Media Club and this is what I did. I went and worked on a short film and I got more experience with social media. I think that in itself is the vision, is to send the students off with a little more experience than just, I took the classes.
The Media Club aims to tell the stories of our campus community through social media, blogs, and video news stories. Club advisor Randall Reese helps members flesh out story ideas, as well as inspiring students in his Introduction to Oral Communication class. Randy explains his particular passion for this introductory course.
One-on-one's kind of fun because I get students who aren't necessarily wanting to be comm majors, and they may not even believe that communication is an important thing to learn, so they just have to take the class, and so I get to win them over.
It can be easy to win someone over when communication is everywhere, whether it's amongst many students in the hallway or in a personal one-on-one. Kayla Makabe explains as to why she changed her major to communication.
Communication affects basically about every aspect of your life, and learning how to be a better communicator can help improve your life, about how to get your voices across more appropriately and effectively.
Creating better lives for students, their families, and their communities. Professor Lacey Harris elaborates on these qualities.
And if you were to look at the philosophies of each instructor here that our department has hired in, everyone brings something unique and specific to the table. And I think that's what makes us such a cohesive group, because everyone is fantastic. And I think that the authenticity of each person and the genuine personality and how much we care for each individual student really shows through. And so I don't think it's necessarily just me. I think it's everyone. And I think that we all show that in our classes.
All other courses that you take here at any university all started as philosophy. So philosophy kind of gives you a good sense of not only origins, but also some of the remaining questions that you'll still address in communication or psychology or whatever it is. So it's academic, but it's also a life approach.
With 1 full-time and 6 adjuncts in the philosophy program, there are plenty of offerings for students interested in the field. Philosophy can help you both academically and in your day-to-day life.
At CWI, you can take Intro to Philosophy, that's the 101, and that kind of covers the broad-based discipline. You can take Ethics, which is kind of, we get into issues, euthanasia, abortion, capital punishment. There's, World Religions, which studies the philosophy of all these different religions. So you study Islam and Hinduism and Buddhism and Christianity. There's Logic, which is just evaluating critical thinking for 16 weeks. That's an awesome course.
Here's Robinson's favorite course. Well, This semester anyway.
This semester I'm really into the metaphysics, which is the reality. So there you talk about your soul, do you have a soul, immortality, death, good stuff.
As a student, you may be wondering why I should take this course, or what do others find interesting?
I think what students like about it, and I understand why they do, because we're analyzing a whole bunch of stuff that really doesn't have a concrete answer. Right. I mean, you know as much, you're as much of an expert on what happens to you when you die as I am or anyone else, because until it happens to you. So it allows for a lot more conversation and difference of opinion, instead of me just saying, well, that's wrong. That view is wrong, sorry. You can't have that view. Well, I don't know, you can. Right. Yeah.
Business ethics is a new course that will be offered at CWI, and Robinson says he's looking forward to teaching it. Here's why.
So there we're really focusing on scenarios and situations you would find in the business world that have an ethical component to it. Okay. So that it's still ethics. It always comes back to ethics because it's still the same right or wrong and theories on how we judge right and wrong. But we take those general theories and we put them into a business setting. Awesome. So what is what are the ethical conundrums you come up with in marketing or sales or whatever it is? Good stuff.
So if you're thinking of what to take at CWI, try philosophy.
I think the two most critical things that I would like students to walk away from this class with would be the understanding of the importance of ethics in policing in the criminal justice field overall is experience. They're going to get to meet a lot of unique people. They're going to hear a lot of unique stories based on past experiences. It's taking the text and kind of bringing it to life with actual stories that have occurred in the field. I think that's pretty critical. It gives those students a different perspective.
That perspective is broadened with hands-on experience. Annual events and local involvement help support the idea that law enforcement is there to help the community. In addition, Forsman draws on his numerous years of experience as chief of police in Nampa to educate students about the criminal justice system.
We also offer a lot of opportunity for our students to be involved in community projects, fundraisers, different things like that. We have a family at Thanksgiving and at Christmas that we provide support for, meals, things like that. We're also very involved in a program that's near to my heart, which is Shop with a Cop. Our students get involved with helping feed underprivileged kids with police officers, and they also get to wrap gifts with these kids and for these kids at a local retail store. It's a big thing for me. I did it for 22 years. Now I get to play the role of Santa, thus the beard. It's a great opportunity for our students to get involved with local law enforcement as well as some of these underprivileged kids. So the key words for me in my classes would be ethics and experience. It's also very important to get the students to understand that I don't want them to think like I do, but I want to get them to think. Ethics and experience.
What are all the classes that you teach here at CWI?
Currently I teach Intro to Criminal Justice, Intro to Police. I teach a Law and Society class, and I also run the internship program. I'm also actively involved in the Criminal Justice Club.
So if you're looking for a career in law enforcement, a criminal justice path might be right for you.
Interested in is child development, so that's what I did my dissertation on, small children, emotional development in particular. But I also really like math, so I'm pretty good at statistics, so I teach both of those classes here, and I love statistics and think everybody should love statistics. One thing that I think that the discipline could do a better job of, and this is true not just of psychology but lots of academic disciplines, is trying to bridge the knowledge that we create and we find through our research with getting it out there to the general public. So one of the hard things is that there's not really a way that scientists or researchers advertise their findings except for in peer-reviewed journal articles. And if you read a peer-reviewed journal article, it's not that easy to read. There's lots of sections in there that are really jargony. So I think as a discipline we should do a better job of letting the public know the things that we find out from research so that they understand the value that our discipline has in understanding the world around us. Well, as a teacher, I can't motivate a student. What I can try and do is provide opportunities in the classroom to engage them, to try and come up with ways to help them find ways that the material is related to their own life. So one thing to do to help motivate students is to help them see that the thing that they're learning really is useful, either in their day-to-day life or in terms of their career goals. So some of the ways that you can do this is have assignments around their personal life, whether those are journal assignments or change assignments in themselves, like in psychology, there's a lot of different opportunities. All as a teacher I can do is provide an engaging environment, passionate about the material, and an opportunity for a student to hook into the material, so to speak.
Yeah. People study. That'd be the two words I'd have to pick. I wasn't the same as other students. Like many students in sociology come because they want to help others. And that's still, even now, people sometimes think I'm kidding about that, but I'm really just interested in the pure research of it rather than how it can help others in the future. And so even as an undergrad, I started studying statistics and writing more to be a researcher. Partly it was when I first majored in sociology was kind of the first trigger. As an undergrad, I took a Soc 101 class as a general requirement, and on the very first day I became a major, it was like a switch flipped. Oh, this is what I've been looking for. And so in many ways I started teaching sociology even as an undergrad. I ran tutoring sessions, studying for tests and things like that. Analytical skills in reasoning and math, statistics and so forth. Here we'll get you started with some of that, especially the logic of reading tables and understanding percentages. The other thing that happens in there is a reasoning or argument skills. One thing that sociology gives students, or at least back to the thing that we can promise them, is broadening their viewpoint.
About different people without your personal opinions and biases getting in the way would be the only way to be a successful sociologist.